Good afternoon. My name is Jake, and this is going to be my presentation on the GLS conference. So, unfortunately, I'm due to work. I was unable to physically go to any of the locations, so I had to luckily get to watch the things afterwards on the internet. So, I was able to do that, which was actually very helpful since I was off for work going through the desert, unfortunately. So, and working strange hours, so I got to watch things with a different kind, I guess I would say, listening ear than the rest of you guys who got to watch it, sit down in the middle of the day watching it. I watched it, sometimes some of these videos at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And sometimes I would just, fall asleep to it and listen to it, and it would retain. So I got a lot of things that stood out, like the two speakers to me. There was two of them that stood out to me. But would I go to one of these seminars from listening to it? Yeah, it sounds like the energy of the crowd would be really, really invigorating, in my opinion. Um, and also just being able to talk to people with a different point of view than I do. I don't exactly share the same point of view as everyone, so it would be kind of interesting to learn and see. Instead of going, oh, let's just focus on our differences. No, we're gonna see our commonalities. So, the two speakers that really got me, I really enjoyed listening to, was Andy Stanley, I believe that was his name, and Jon Acuff's. They both stood out for different reasons. So with Andy, he was talking about how we let fear basically dictate us, because we use fear as a big old. It's something that motivates us. It either is it's a double-bladed sword, essentially. It's the fear of loss, fear of not being able to afford a house that, keeps us working and keep us motivated. But then again, we fear like losing rights and losing everything, because fear of loss is one of our biggest things. But one of the things that really jumped out to me, kind of also why I did a career change too, is you can raise a lot of money peddling off of fear. I used to work for an insurance company, and I would hear phone calls. This is from 2021 and 2020, early 2022, where I would hear people begging for basically the booster shots that were not approved yet, getting any medical testing for free, just because they had so much fear from the COVID itself. I'm not going to say, like, no, the vaccines don't work or anything like that. I'm not going to state that, but someone somewhere has a lot of zeros in their bank accounts now because they made money off of the fear of it. And, I mean, honestly, I cannot respect that kind of thinking, too. Like, oh, how can I make a buck off of everyone being afraid? No, you're dividing people and making people scared. I mean, we don't want to lose as a society. We don't want to lose people we love. And if this is, someone saying, hey, just stick this in your arm, you'll be good. Like, I mean, it could be a placebo, it could actually work. I don't know. We don't have the whole data yet. But also because how he talks about how, there's a difference between having a division and having differences. Differences help people grow, and division doesn't help anything grow. But sometimes division leads to good things, which I kind of felt like he didn't touch on. Because if we didn't have division, we wouldn't have, Martin Luther leaving the Catholic Church and starting the Protestant movement. And we wouldn't have we'd all be taking orders from the Pope. I mean, it's just, sometimes it's how you view the change too, but essentially the fear is used as a dividing instead of looking at things with, love. And the other speaker I really gravitated towards was Jon Acuff's. He was talking about overthinking. I have had issues with overthinking things personally. So I really struck a chord, so I've been trying to really work on that. Sometimes I would just get bogged down into the details, going, why is this not working? Why am, just before I even get the idea out, as he was talking about, like, people editing their thoughts before even writing it down. So one of the things I want to try doing going forward is, because when I thought back on some of my best ideas I've ever had with work. A couple of them were basically just throwing it was like a word vomit session where I just came up with a silly idea and I ran with it and it worked out really great. Then there's times where I sat down and I literally looked to details, overcomplicated, overthought it, and it just did not materialize as well. It's like if you sit there and overthink it, you're wasting time of being productive and creative with it, which I caught that chord with that. Something else he talked about was like the playlist. Because everyone has like a playlist in their head. As someone who's musically inclined, I totally get that. You hear different soundtracks for different things. Like if you're driving in your car, you have your driving in the car music in your head. Kind of weird, but kind of fun at the same time. But a good leader, they are going to change up that playlist to listen for some new stuff to throw in there. They're not going to stick to that same playlist. So like for instance, like Bose, they forgot about Dre. I guess that was kind of funny in that sense, because they did not listen to what's going on. Like, hey, there's a new up and comer for Beats by Dre, who even though Bose is really nice, Beats by Dre are not bad at all either. So I would take either or. It's not like dollar store quality ones that you bought versus Bose. They're pretty comparable. Which some of the things that I would take away from the whole experience of watching all these videos at the weird hours I was watching them is always stay curious, because it's personality. It's always stay curious. You gotta listen to different point of views, especially professionally too, because not everything is the world's always ever changing. It's never going to stay the same long enough to say, hey, this is the same classic rock station that we're going to listen to the whole time. I mean, even the classic rock station has updated their playlist. So we got to do that as like leaders as well too. One of the things like I said, I wanted to really implement is, instead of sitting down when I'm overthinking things like setting up a plan or anything like that, instead of like sitting there overthinking every detail, like, oh, it's gonna be this. No, I'm just gonna word vomit. Like, I want to drive to middle of nowhere. Let's go out there. Let's hop in the car. Let's go. Kind of roll with it and let the run with my gut on it, which is something I want to take on. And also being able to listen to more different speakers and just kind of listen to other people's point of views, because like I said, I'm not going to always 100% agree with everyone. I mean, I'm an adult. I'm fully aware of that. I mean, a lot of people unfortunately are not nowadays, but sometimes you're going to hear things that you don't like, or you're going to see things you don't like, but you know what? You might see a different way of how to solve the same problem that we're looking at. And that's what is important, to be honest. So one of the things I am going to start implementing is the whole word vomit idea, which helps with the overthinking. Not letting fear dictate exactly what I do. That is, not every day is promised, but if we let fear divide us, and division will make things harder for people to, have a sense of community. So that was my takeaways. And again, I would attend to in person, because I just want to, pick the minds of some of these guys and just, hear them out. Because, they are different from me, and it's, perfectly fine. I want to hear them out. It's just a part about being an adult. All right, thank you, and have a wonderful day.